Hey there, I am Pops, and welcome. Saturday morning cartoon time, baby. Saturday morning cartoons, Batman animated series. We are now, quite a ways into this now. We're 15, 16 episodes in. The two I want to talk about today have an interesting theme that kind of ties them together. First thing is, episode 15 is called Last Laugh with the Joker. And then, of course, episode 16 centers around Poison Ivy. And we have an interesting concept there called eternal youth. And not only do we have two cool villains that are returning to the series, we also have a thread that is not as common in the comic books as it seems like should, because it's almost like a softball of creating some stakes for Bruce / Batman. And that is the fact that Alfred is at risk. Alfred's life is endangered in some way, shape, or form. And in both episodes, that is something that comes to light. And I will say, with both episodes as well, I thought the sound and the music, I haven't really talked a lot about that, but in these two episodes in particular, I found it very noticeable how the score and the music and the sound, the intensity and the effects are done so well and really elevate both these episodes more than I kind of remembered. Really did enjoy both of them very, very much, way more than I thought I did when I kind of was, kind of looking down the list. Really did enjoy both these episodes. So the first one, Last Laugh, is centered around the Joker. Of course, it's an April Fool's time frame. They set that up with a newspaper, and you have a clown that's driving this green garbage on like a barge, and there's like these green vapors that are going around everywhere. You have someone driving this Brinks truck, and it's called Dinks, right? And when the driver first smells it, he's like, "Ew, that's disgusting," and then starts laughing, and then losing control of the vehicle. Workers are doing the same, and then of course the Dink truck goes over the side of the bridge. I also think that when they cut here and we get a shot of Wayne Manor, it's really different how they set it up, like the mansion on the hill kind of thing. And Bruce is there shaving and cuts himself, and Alfred does an April Fool's joke. Alfred's humor is really kind of fun in this show. He's played so much more serious in most of the live action adaptations, and almost to the surrogate father thing gets a little carried away at times, where that's not really Alfred's role in a lot of ways. And he does the thing, I drew you a bath, and of course he actually drew a picture of a bath, not the actual bath. So then it puts Bruce in a shower, and you basically get the news that the chaos is breaking out. And of course, Bruce at this point identifies it's got to be the Joker, right? And then we get just great visuals and sound, how this moves to the sequence of Joker driving a submarine. They send out divers to get the, quote, Dinks truck, right? The newscasters are trying to report on all of the stuff going on. And then, of course, you realize that they're on top of like a submarine, and that's where the barge is. So the barge is on top of the submarine going around. And then once it gets to a thing, it docks, and you have the clown mask going in to loot the town, because basically everyone's like laughing hysterically. They're out of control, and the Joker's cracking gags, maniacal, and loves the fact that the thugs literally are shaking people down for their belongings, or literally like turn them over, shake them down. You can do that in animation. It's absurd in live action, but it's fun in the cartoon world at times. And Joker makes a great comment about sidewalk sales, what I thought was funny. The Bat computer analysis is playing along here. I thought it was a little strange how we just kind of get there. We didn't really have how Bruce got enough information to know what to do, but it worked out. But we also find out that Alfred is infected with these vapors. He's acting crazy. He's destroying stuff around Wayne Manor. He even sounds like Joker on the intercom at one point. It's kind of funny. And so now it gets very personal, right? Because now Alfred's life is at risk because of the Joker gas and the exposure, right? So we get the Bat boat, cruising the city in the Bat boat. Summer Gleeson's got a gas mask on. She's our standard reporter in the Batman animated series universe. The Joker gags are continuing, right, about stock market crashes and things like that. And of course, the sub crashes, and it's Batman. And they do the typical Periscope thing. Batman's in there. Great fight. And Joker introduces Captain Clown, which is basically a giant robot clown. And they trap Bat in like a metal canister. And Joker does these little knife stabs, and they throw it over the side, so now water's gushing in and that kind of thing. And when the thugs later their mask get pulled off, they get exposed to the gas too. So the gas is pretty much just everywhere. Batman's underwater in the little tank. He ultimately figures out how to get the bat boat to him. He cut his way out, and he has a big fight. Ultimately comes in conflict with the robot. Has to use a metal pipe and grabs his cape, and ultimately gets him into this thing, this metal crusher. And I really love the fact that it's like, you killed Captain Clown. I just kind of laughed at the Joker. He actually says it with like almost like sadness, like, you killed my toy. Like, I thought of Nicholson, like, where does he get those wonderful toys? And here Joker's like, you killed my clown. You killed my toy. He drops a bunch of stuff on Batman, but of course, no one's getting away. Batman's chasing Joker. It does their thing. It's great cinematography, by the way, as you end up inside another Joker trap, basically, because we're in like a smelting plant where they burn all this metal. And it's really, really, really good as he takes on Joker. And then, of course, there's a moment where, because Joker's sliding on his belly, Batman's headed for the trap, hanging on. And then finally, Joker's like, justice will be served. And he throws these knife cards, but the second one Batman catches. And you're like, oh, he is so kick butt, man. He knows what's coming before it even happens. And of course, when Joker falls, it's like this cheeky, you wouldn't let me fry, would you? Like, Joker's like suddenly becomes kind of meek, right? And Alfred's cleaning. They're talking about Bruce smelling bad and those kinds of things happening. So it's funny because when Alfred was crazy, he was breaking stuff. He broke a Ming vase. And it's like, oh, I'll take it out of your salary, right? Gee, ha, ha, ha. April Fool's type stuff, right? But I think here we really get, first off, one thing I don't want to forget was the Thugs Joker masks are clearly tied in inspiration for what Dark Knight's design was with the Joker, the Heath Ledger Joker. So that's definitely like on point. But the through point here is about motivation to figure out the Joker situation to save Alfred, right? To have an anecdote to save Alfred. We have a very similar situation in the second episode, episode 16, which is Poison Ivy. And we have just like a slow process to introduce where we get to Poison Ivy, because in the beginning, it's more about, a woman running around scared into the woods. You have this gas type thing that she's getting sprayed with, and they turn into Mother Nature. And there's all these comments about environmentalism, eco-terrorism, basically, an evil type perspective on it. And Bruce is having conflict already because he's having some sort of issue on the phone. And you get to this tape that shows up for Bruce, not for Batman, for Bruce, called Eternal Youth, right? And it's basically Eternal Youth is like a spa club, and they're trying to get Bruce to go there. And he's like, I'm not doing this. And Alfred has a girlfriend. So she shows up. Her name is Maggie Page. And she flirts in front of Bruce, which makes Alfred like embarrassed. Anyway, they go off to do this. And there's a great line. Again, Alfred has all the great lines in these episodes about being shanghaied. And then they go to this place, and they're experience the Eternal Youth experience. And Ivy is there, but you don't know she's Ivy. She introduces herself as Demeter, right? Because they get to a point because she's a goddess. So there was a name perfectly selected. And there's a quick scene with Gordon, and basically Batman finds this videotape, the same one that Bruce got at this missing lady's house. So therefore, he's got to go to this Eternal Youth Spa area, right? And Alfred's feeling great. Everyone's feeling great, whatever. The music is there as the Batmobile is closing in. And so when Alfred shows back up at the Batcave later, because Batman's still trying to piece it all together, he's like, oh, you need some plants in here. You need this. So when they analyze the stuff, Batman's like, what's happened to Alfred here? Like, something's wrong. Because Maggie and Alfred want to go back, and they end up getting another exposure to this chemical, and basically are petrified, just like the woman in the previous scene. So now Alfred's missing. We don't know what's going on. Batman's en route. There are plants that are out of control. Women are attacking him, and you get Poison Ivy. Now, I will say what's interesting is Poison Ivy actually has a pretty interesting take in this about, we both want to punish evildoers, and her take is more like from a terror standpoint, a violent standpoint. Like Batman, like, no, we got to bring them to justice. They never go away, though. It's like they basically are always sent to like the insane asylum. They're never really, punished. And we don't really ever get to see them break out as often as we probably should. It is contrived of how these things kind of piece together. But I like the fact that when they have this conflict and Ivy's using her crossbow to shoot at Batman, she actually breaks the vial open. She causes the disaster. She causes her own demise because the chemical gets into the ground. It creates this massive tree that just raises up rapidly, breaks this entire greenhouse area they're in. And the tension is awesome. The sound is, like I said, booming sound in these 2 episodes. Like, oof, so good. And there's this great conversation that they're having about, I thought you believed in justice. And he's like, yes, but not vengeance at the hands of an eco-terrorist. Like you're just as bad as those you're trying to punish. This isn't the way you do things, right? So we do get the revelations of Batman's mantras, Batman's goals and rules, and how he structures all that so he doesn't become the villains that he's actually fighting. I think that's very important because this definitely gets lost sometimes. And it gets lost on what fans want. Because fans do want the violent Batman, the destructive Batman, the Batman that's willing to kill, right? And yet Batman is trying to walk the line. Not saying he's always successful, but he's trying to walk the line where that is not the case. And it concludes really well with Alfred and Maggie recovering. There's more jokes. There's jokes at Bruce's expense and all those kinds of things. So just great content, great show. 2 underestimated episodes. I'm really enjoying the rewatch and experiencing this. And again, we haven't had Penguin yet. We haven't had Riddler yet. We can keep going. But next time, folks, next Saturday, can you believe this? The 2-parter, Two-Face. Yes, that's right. Harvey Dent. We've had Harvey Dent. But now we're going to have our 2-parter. He becomes Two-Face. Oh my God. It's a classic. The origins are really some of the best ones, aren't they? Like the Mr. Freeze one, the 2-parter Catwoman, I thought was very good to open things up. The Clayface is very memorable. Even the way the Joker is presented, they always have sort of like nuanced differences. Maybe that's a subject for like a bonus video. Maybe you guys want me to do a bonus video. Maybe I could do a members only video of like just the Joker videos to this point because of how they're sort of elaborating almost the different personality and attack styles that Joker will come up with. It's kind of how I felt the last laugh. It was something a little bit different, obviously clearly more clownish in this one compared to some of the other ones where he's been more menacing and conniving and some different things like that. So anyway, I love your comments. Please keep them coming. Really enjoy interacting with you on my Saturday morning cartoons. Got some other ideas and things like that I'm hoping to roll out for this. So stay tuned and thank you again. I'm Pops.